Okay, hello everyone. My name is Mrs. Becker, and today we're going to be learning about how to write a limerick. Just to make sure everyone is joined in, can you just type a little hello greeting in the chat room so I know that everyone is here? And again, the chat is at the bottom corner. Just type a little hello message from everyone. Bonjour. Hi, Michelle. Kaylin. We're waiting for one more. And Jen, great. Everyone is here. So we're going to get started today. We're learning about limericks. And I want to give you a second. If you think you've ever heard of a limerick, or just make your guess, what do you think a limerick is? And you want to go ahead and type it in using either the text option or the draw tool. But when you type it in or draw it, please make sure that you write your initials so I know who commented what. Okay, kind of poem. Excellent. Any other ideas? Rhyming phrases. Okay, great one, Michelle. Any other ideas on what a funny poem? Okay, Jen on the right track. Great. Christian, any idea? Okay, so a special type of poetry with syllables. Excellent. So we're on the right track. I'm going to go ahead and clear that for now. We're going to go into what a limerick actually is. So a limerick, Jen was correct, is a type of humorous poetry, and it has a specific rhyme scheme. Has anyone heard of a rhyme scheme before? And you can call out your answer now if you think, oh, Kaylin, go ahead. Kaylin just raised her hand. Kaylin, what do you think a rhyme scheme is? Oh, pattern to the rhyme. Excellent. That's a great way to put it. I'm going to read this example of a limerick on the right-hand side here. Please follow along with me as I read it, and then we'll talk about that pattern of rhyme that Kaylin was just saying. What is a limerick, mother? It's a form of verse, said brother, in which lines 1 and 2 rhyme with 5 when it's through, and 3 and 4 rhyme with each other. So Kaylin's absolutely correct. The rhyme scheme for a limerick is very specific. It's A, A, B, B, A. And what that means is we're going to look at the end rhyme for the end of each line. So at the end of the first line, the word is mother. And if we're following the correct rhyme scheme, which is A, B, B, A, then brother should rhyme with mother, and it does. So that's our second A. But then we get to line 3 here. It says in which lines 1 and 2. But 2 does not rhyme with mother or brother, so it's going to start a new rhyme. And 2 rhymes with through, so that's where we get our BB. So to and through rhyme. And then if we're following the correct rhyme scheme, the last line, line 5, should also rhyme with mother and brother. If we take a look at it, it says, and 3 and 4 rhyme with each other, and other, brother, and mother all rhyme perfectly. Does anyone have any questions so far? And you can go ahead and type those questions in the chat room box as we go along if you have any questions. Okay. Here is an example of a limerick. Michelle, would you mind reading this for us, please? Excellent. Thank you very much, Michelle. So if we look at this rhyme scheme, can someone refresh my memory? What is the rhyme scheme for a limerick? Can you go ahead and type that in the chat box now if you remember what the rhyme scheme was for a limerick using those letters? Go ahead and type that in the chat box now. Excellent, Michelle. Great job, Christian. We have that A, B, B, A. Great. Everyone's participating. So AABBA, let's check the format on this limerick together. Can anyone tell me what 3 words rhyme in this poem that are going to be all of our A's? Jen, can you tell me? Oh, Kaylin's raising her hand. Kaylin, go ahead and tell me what words rhyme here. Excellent. Power, flower, and cower. And just like we learned before, those are in lines 1, 2, and 5. And what are our other 2 words that are rhyming that are going to be our B, B? And do you know what 2 words rhyme? Excellent. Silk and milk. So now we have our rhyme scheme A, B, B, A. We're going to look at one more example, and I'm going to see if you pick up on a pattern after we look at this next example. Okay. Ben, do you mind reading this poem for us, please? And again, this is a very silly limerick. And if you remember, the main purpose of limericks is that they're funny. So the final line of limericks are usually kind of the punchline that really make it stand out, make it funny. And actually, let's look at one more before I see if you notice any pattern. Michelle, do you mind reading this one again for me, please? Excellent. Thank you very much. And again, we're seeing that same A, B, B, A rhyme scheme. What else in particular that lines 1, 2, and 5 have in common? They're different from lines 3 and 4. Does anyone, let's type it in the chat box. What is something you notice are different between lines 1, 2, and 5 that are different from lines 3 and 4? It has to do with the length. Someone make a guess and go ahead and type that into the chat box, please. It has to do with the length of the lines. Okay, any other guesses? I see that, Jen. Excellent. Okay, so Jen and Kaylin are absolutely correct. Lines 3 and 4 are a lot shorter than lines 1, 2, and 5. And that has to do with the rhythm of the poem. So when in a little bit, when you go to write your own poem, you need to keep in mind, not only do you need that AABBA rhyme scheme, you also need to make sure that lines 1, 2, and 5 are a little bit longer than lines 3 and 4. Does anyone else have any questions? And again, please write those questions in the chat box as we're going through this. We're going to just watch a quick video that's going to refresh our memory on the rules of writing a limerick. One second. And again, that's just repeating what I've already taught you. I'm going to go back to the assignment now. Before we go into writing our own limericks, here are some examples of different formatting you can use when writing your own limerick. If you noticed in template A, it starts with there once was a blank called blank. That's because a lot of poems often start with there once was a man from Peru. It's introducing the character or whatever is being talked about in the poem. I'm going to put it back up in the screen in a second when you go to write your own. And again, you don't have to feel pressure to use these templates, but if you choose to, they will be up there. Finally, here are your directions for your assignment. And I did write it in the form of a limerick, so we'll check my rhyme scheme and the length of my lines at the end. It says, now it's your turn to write your own limerick without fright. It could be about spring or any April, May thing. Just make sure your rhyme scheme is right. And that is all. I'm going to sign off and let you guys get started on your limericks. Does anyone have any questions before we finish for today? Okay. Excellent job. Thank you, everyone. And you can have a good day.